Okay, so we are currently changing out the plugs on the Featherweights. We've got two of them here that have either the original wiring and it's got some nicks in it, or it's just kind of really leathery and just kind of seems unsafe. We purchased replacement wires. These are from the Featherweight shop. Can you hold that one up real fast before you cut it? And it already comes with the plug in the back, plug into the wall, and then a off-brand plug into the machine. And what I like to do here is try to keep the Singer original parts. So what we're going to end up doing is cutting the wiring from these replacement wires, and then we will have the actual Singer plug, and we'll keep that. On this one here, we can even keep the part that plugs into the wall original. This is just going to take a soldering iron that we don't currently have at this location that we'll have to go and get to do. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Why don't you explain the prongs on the replacement and what you use instead, or how you do it?
So the original prongs have a different lug on them, a lot thicker than the replacement ones. And if you don't use washers or a spacer, this screw will bottom out before it secures these. So what I like to do is I will cut these old, I'll just do it, cut the old lugs off, and then I'll use this as a washer, and just that will allow me to securely fasten the new prongs to the terminals. Okay. And then I'll also save the sleeving, the old sleeving, and just put it back on the new. New wires.
So do you want to, I know you're trying to take that off, but do you want to explain what's actually inside?
Yeah. The pedal actually works when you push the button. Inside, what happens is this button depresses this lever, which actually compresses a giant resistor, which is just a bunch of carbon discs, two columns of them, one on each side. And what happens when you start to depress the discs is it regulates current flow. And as soon as you have the discs fully depressed, it will allow a lot more current in than when you first start compressing them. And once you get so far, you can see up here on the screw that these two terminals actually touch these copper bars, and it actually bypasses the copper disc resistors, which gives you full speed when you're pushing the pedal down. Another thing to note is that we had to adjust it, but on this one, when we first opened it up, this back plate here was even with the back of the housing. And what you really want is about 1/8 of an inch gap between the plate and the back of the housing. If you don't have it, your speed won't be, you won't have as much control over your speed.
The feathering effect.
Yep. I think it may have melted the wire. There we go. And that is what happens when the wire is in the wrong location, which this one was about here. It may have ended up actually there. If the wire gets crushed, it's just it's bad news. This has enough insulation on it that it didn't break it, but that's generally not what you want.
which is again why I make sure that we change out any of the wiring that is old or looks like it hasn't been replaced. We have another cable over here that has been replaced, and although they did not keep the original Singer plug-in, since this is brand new, I'm not going to mess with it because it's just ready to go for this machine. But these two other foot pedals definitely have the original wiring, and there were some nicks in the wire itself anyways, so we just make sure that we change that out so you don't have to worry about something like that.
And that's about all the parts we need off the old wiring. The 2 wire sleeving, old lugs, and then the
back portion
that you'll see out the back side.
that helps with stability in there. Again, this one here does not currently have it on there, but whoever changed out that wire, I guess, just felt that it was unnecessary to keep it, and it's not going to affect the functionality. I can't talk. How the machine itself or the pedal functions. It's just nice to have on there so that way it kind of keeps it a little bit more stabilized.
So all I'm doing now is matching the original split. I'll slide the clip back on so that way it doesn't continue to split. And then we'll slide the insulation over the terminals. And then we will finally and I'll show you why. The reason I clipped the lugs off of the old Alright, the screw is tight, but it does not hold the terminal lug in place.
Yeah, there's a lot of move space in
I
between.
saved this and I'll put it on there as nothing more than a washer just to hold the terminal secure.
Little pieces. Try to leave this set up here so that way you can still see it's
So now you can see it's not moving at all.
Yes, that's not gonna hold up there. Okay.
Just stop it and I'll go get the...
Okay. Sorry about that.
put it on backwards.
Forget the pedal portion.
So now we'll clamp this back in place. Now the fun part.
We're going to put in the pedal back. See what you mean by the fun part. And they do have replacement feet for the rubber feet. Sometimes I guess they do take a beating. I have not come across one thus far that needs to be replaced, but I'm sure that there are some that are out there.
You recently came across a featherweight that needed new feet.
Yeah, I think somebody actually placed some kind of caulking or putty or something on the bottom of it rather than just replacing it. So it's actually the featherweight that's sitting right there. We got those put on today.
rest of it.
So again, on this one, we're going to actually use the original Singer part off the old cord. The screws are very tiny, or the top piece is the little hexagonal looking things. Do they have any significant importance?
They do. Oh, the screws?
Yeah.
Some of them it doesn't matter. This one seems like it does. You probably can't see it, but one side of these openings have a hexagon shape, which will hold the nut, so when you tighten them, the nut won't spin, and one side is just smooth for the bolt head to slide down in.
Interesting. And there's the inside.
Why don't you give me a Sharpie?
Okay, can you hold that? There's actually some Sharpies behind you, but not steady ones. You need anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason I asked for the Sharpie is because there's the numbers in here that tell you where they go, or where they're supposed to go.
We had a run-in with that on Clickities, didn't we, Stephen?
Yeah, I may have put them in the wrong location.
His light worked, and then there was no power to the motor. That was a boatload of fun.
Simple fix. So yeah, I know, not the right tool. So there's one. I just need one more. Where'd the cord go? So now these things pretty much just unscrew. And we have more pliers.
Just hold that up, get a better look. The internal mechanisms. It's always best to have most of the materials that you need for changing out things on hand, but we have this set up in our living room, so we don't have everything as easily accessible. part of the wire, or?
The black thing is basically like the circular piece on this wire. It prevents the wire from being pulled out.
So what are you doing now?
I'm just eyeballing it so I can strip these the same length.
So what kind of tools should you be using?
Probably wire strippers.
Mm-hmm. By all means, Stephen, let's not use the proper tools.
I don't have the proper tools.
Now those pieces, you put that.
You put this thing on first. Because if you put the connectors on, you'll never get this on. All right. Oops.
Did you not put the back part of the plastic terminal on there, Stephen?
No, I didn't put that on there either.
So step by step, and he's an industrial engineer that writes work processing for a job. What is the first step?
I would probably say don't videotape the second one you've ever done. But this is going better than the first one, though.
Like I said, we only replace if we absolutely have to. These two have been the only ones that we've really had to replace. These are actually worse, I think, than what Clickity's was.
Oh, really? We haven't seen too many of them like this. No, the ones we get, most of them look like this or an older version of that. So you can't.
Yeah. It's already been replaced at some point or another. And with this, it's plastic housing, so you cannot open it up at all. I found that the original pieces were important to me, and
She made me fix them.
where there's a will, there's a way, Stephen.
So this is 1 and 2. So I'm gonna take this guy. Make this guy 1 and make this guy 2.
Now, will you tighten those before you get the rest of them on there, or after? If at all.
First thing I do is a tug test. So just make sure they're in there pretty good. And if they are, I might do a little turn on with the wrench or with the pliers. I might just leave them hand. The last one, I didn't need pliers to take them apart. They were just hand tight. This guy's 2. The other one's a 1, and that one's a 1, so we need to make a 3. So now the troublesome one is always terminal 1, which requires a lead from both the foot pedal and the wall outlet. So we'll see if I can get it on there.
So what makes it troublesome? Because you got two
Double the
copper-
wire.
Double wire.
if we can get them all back in the same
Casing.
plug, they should go in.
Seems like you were getting a little stiff in that chair there, Stephen.
And my back's a little sore. Maybe my wife will rub my back when we get done.
Yeah. Let's worry about one thing at a time.
That means a no. I've done such a good job demonstrating. Maybe she could do the next one.
Yeah. I don't really like messing with anything electrical. I'll leave that
It's not plugged in.
Yeah.
Only hurts for a second. I gotta keep going.
I really hope other people find your humor. Yeah, I really hope other people find your humor in this.
If anyone's ever been shocked, they understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to be shocked because I haven't been shocked, and I would like to keep it that way.
I said it's not plugged in. So there we should have terminal 1, which has 2 leads connected to it. Terminal 2, which should be going to the foot pedal, which it is. And then terminal 3 should be going to the plug, which it is. Now the other tricky part is getting this back on here, because when you take your hand off, they all want to go. They all want to move.
Problems?
Nope, only got solutions. That create problems. Another cool thing to note is this piece here, there's no slat for the wires to go through. This bottom piece has a slat for the wires to go through, so then you can close the thing all the way. Let's try this one more time. Oh, look at that. Now, as I said before, one side has a hexagon, one side has a circle. Bolt head goes on the circle side. Nut goes on the hex side, and then when you tighten, it will draw the nut into the housing and won't let it spin, it'll let you tighten it. Now with any luck, when she plugs this in, the motor will turn the right direction. And more than just the light bulb will work.
We'll set up another video for that.